Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch Jurisich, and welcome to Hooked on the Niners.
And I'm Mark Naismith, and today we'll review the 2011 season.
And I'm Jerry Walker, and we're going to preview the 2012 season.
Now, that sounds like this is going to be like about a 2-hour show, but it's not. We're going to have all that and not a darn thing more when we come back on Hooked on the Niners.
Brought to you in part by
Bay 101 Casino, San Jose's place to play since 1994. Bay 101 is located at 1801 Bering Drive in San Jose and can be reached at 408-451-8888 or on the web at bay101.com.
Badges Cafe, located in the heart of Mountain View at 2423 Old Middlefield Way. You can reach Badges Cafe at 650-967-7477 or visit them on the web at www.badges.com. Go Niners! College Plaza Shell. Established in 1987, College Plaza Shell is located at 1400 West Hillsdale Boulevard in San Mateo and can be reached for high-quality auto repair at 650-573-7959. Go Niners!
Psst. Hey, need some video work done? We can do that. We do all that video stuff. We can even put your video on that internet thingy. At Peninsula TV, we do full-blown in-studio production, talk shows, performances, speeches, anything. Remote multi-camera production, on location, at your event. And for the budget-minded, single camcorder production in high definition. We'll take your video project from first idea to finished product. For more info, contact Peninsula TV.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. If you're like us, the 2011 season took you to both ends of the spectrum, guys. I mean, they were just the 2011 season started out with the signing of Jim Harbaugh, and what he did with that team to take him to 13 wins was just unbelievable, and right up to the punch in the gut in the NFC Championship game. But let's start at the beginning as we review 2011. I mentioned the Harbaugh signing. Absolutely perfect. This guy comes up from Stanford. He was the perfect fit.
I don't think anybody saw that coming. It was just amazing. You know, the guy obviously has got a very good pedigree as a player and as a college coach, but to come into the NFL and make that sort of mark the first year, to me, was unbelievably astounding. And he sure walked the talk, didn't he?
He's a fascinating human being, Jerry. Does he remind you at all that Jerry Walker was with the 49ers for, I think, 73 years and has seen all of the coaches come and go? Does he have a few traits that remind you of Bill Walsh?
Yes, he does. Who's got it better than us, first of all?
Absolutely.
Bill didn't tell us that every game, but we had the feeling that, we did have it better than most people.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of traits. He knows football. He knows how to make adjustments. He's got a great staff. He relates to the players right away. Those are some memories of Bill.
And how about he relating to Trent Baalke, the general manager, and those guys getting along, and the draft they had before the 2011 season. And I bet there's a lot of you out there that were, when they said Aldon Smith from Missouri, we're going, who in the heck is that? But we sure found out,
absolutely.
didn't we? And to you got your pass rush.
Boy.
Can you be quiet now about the pass rush?
Well, not yet, but the pass rusher supreme, and you know, it's a wonderful a marriage when you can have a GM and a head coach on the same piece of paper, and they were in a total thumbs-up way. Kind of reminds you of the old days where that front office was so spectacular in the way that they managed the football team that hopefully this is the genesis, the same sort of a deal.
And you know, they had no training camps because of the lockout, but they had Alex Smith camps, and I thought that was a huge move by Alex Smith.
A great move by Alex, a great move for the team.
Right.
Yeah, Camp Alex probably doesn't compare to Camp Jim,
no.
but it was a pretty good deal.
It was a pretty good deal. So they drafted well, and he starts to change the culture. Everyone says that they're going to change the culture in the building, right? And they did. I mean, people bought into his stuff with the workman-like blue shirts with your name on it and all that stuff, which, you know, to the outside observer might be, you know, not a big deal. But I thought, this is just me personally, I thought the huge thing was the time between the Cincinnati game and the Philadelphia game when they stayed back in Youngstown, Ohio, was pretty big to me.
Now, they issued the new shirts this year, the new blue-collar shirts this year already, and they're planning to stay a week in Ohio again this year, too.
Oh, are they really?
Yes.
Because I know we're going to look at the schedule a little bit later, and there's a part in there that I was actually going to bring that up, so we'll save that to a little for a little later. But it was kind of key. I thought that they won both those games on the road, Cincinnati and then Philadelphia.
Absolutely, and Harbaugh just exuding confidence, and I think a lot of people, question myself included, could he bring this sort of transitional power that he brought to Stanford, and make them a smash mouth football team after being anything but in the past, and they became a college powerhouse. Would that translate to the professional ranks? And it did, and I think a lot of it went with his credibility as a player. 15 years in the league, a real tough guy, and it sure worked, and I think it's going to keep working.
We're going to have to zip right through this. I just got the 2-minute warning for this segment. If we take a look at the key stats for the Niners in 2011 on defense, if we can put that graphic up there, you see they were 4th in the NFL in total defense, 1st in takeaways. I think they had a plus 38 ratio, 2nd in the NFL in interception, and 7th in sacks. The defense played extremely well with your pass rush there, Mark. And so that's, I think, what changed that. But if we take a look at the offense, Harbaugh is kind of a grinded-out guy to me. And if you look at this, 26th in the NFL in total offense, 30th in third down conversions, 19th in quarterback yards, and you can see all of that. But first in field goals converted. They've played a field position game. Don't lose it and let our defense win it.
Well, and I think it speaks to the obvious that one of the keys to this year is they have to have more balance. I mean, you can't have your defense on the field as much as they were last year. They played superbly, plus 38 in turnovers. I just don't see how it's going to happen again. And offensively, they need to step it up, and hopefully they have the weapons to do that.
Jerry, first playoff game against New Orleans, one of the best you ever saw?
Yes, definitely one of the best I've ever seen.
And you've seen a bunch of them, as we all have.
There are people still in euphoria because of that game. I was working for an instant replay at the time, left the press box about half an hour, 45 minutes after the game. People were still walking around underneath the stadium, high-fiving people. People were coming up to me and high-fiving me, offering me a high five. It's like, I can feel it. It
was absolutely phenomenal. The run by Alex Smith, if that had been the game winner right there, what a perfect cherry on top of the cake that would have been. But the pass to Vernon Davis. We're just going to glom a little bit onto the NFC Championship game. A real kick in the gut to the 49ers. A couple of muffed punts by a guy that I think, Kyle Williams, is going to be a very, very good player in this league. They held on to him, and I think that was a good move.
Yeah, it was a very tough break for them. They played a good game against a very tough opponent, and turnovers can win or lose games, and it unfortunately did this time.
Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about the additions to this 49er team when we come back, but before we go, I'll say, who's got it better than you? Well, most people watching other stations, because this really isn't that good. We'll see you in a little bit here on Hooked on the Niners.
Brought to you in part by Woodmont Real Estate Services, a friend to the community since 1963. Woodmont Real Estate Services is located at 1050 Ralston Avenue in Belmont, California, and can be reached at 650-592-3960 or at www.wres.com. Vivace Ristorante, located at 1910 Ralston Avenue in the heart of Belmont and featuring Northern Italian cuisine. They can be reached at www.vivacerestaurant.com or at 650-637-0611. 650-637-0611. Gando Design. For 25 years, your local source for imprinted products and apparel. Located in Redwood City and on the web at gandodesign.com/specials. Peninsula TV is now live streamed on the internet. Watch us from anywhere you have an internet connection. On cable, on the net, and on that fancy mobile device. Just go to pentv.tv.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. Let's take a look at the additions to this team and how this team has improved over the 2011 team. I think the first thing, guys, Jerry, I'll throw it to you first, is Jim Harbaugh with some prep time, I think could be a little bit more dangerous. And I think he has sold his philosophy on this team business. He's an unusual guy that I don't have a handle on, nor do I think I want one, but whatever he's selling, they've bought it.
They're all buying it down there,
Yeah.
not just the players, the staff. And
Right.
when you talk about Jim Harbaugh, you're also talking about the staff. That's one of the best coaching staffs in the league.
Yeah.
And they break it down with one of the best special teams coaches, one of the best offensive coordinators, one of the best defensive coordinators, and they've got it going on.
Let's take a look at how free agency affected us. Mark here, the minuses, Adam Snyder, Chilo Rochelle, Josh Morgan, Blake Costanzo. This might sound a little crazy, but to me, probably the guy there that you're going to miss the most is Costanzo on special teams.
Yeah, possibly. Not a lot of losses in free agency. I thought they might make a little bit harder run at Adam Snyder, but obviously they felt that they could replace him, which they have done. But one of the few teams who didn't get really hurt free agency. So again, tribute to management and how the people like this organization.
Let's take a look at the additions through free agency, the pluses. Obviously, the big one right there on top: Randy Moss, Mario Manningham, Brandon Jacobs, Parrish Cox, and Josh Johnson, who we left him up there, but surprisingly didn't make the team because of Scott Tolzien. But Randy Moss, kind of intriguing there, and getting Manningham and Jacobs from the team they lost to in the NFC title game.
Those are three outstanding pickups. Randy Moss right now is a leader down there.
Yeah.
I've seen him walk around the cafeteria, and guys are following him. He's almost like the Pied Piper. You got other receivers following him because he's Randy Moss. And right now, it's a very, very positive.
Well, and if you look at this, Mark, in the championship game against the Giants, we completed one pass to a wide receiver. That's one more pass than a dead guy, and now we've added wide receivers Manningham and Moss and A.J. Jenkins. They take first in the draft.
Well, clear signal that they want to open up the passing game. They were not dependent on it last year. Very controlled passing attack with Alex Smith, and he did well in it. But you've got to throw the ball downfield. Clear signal they want to throw the ball. Getting these two guys and drafting Jenkins in the first round should allow him to do that. Moss is a great player if he can keep his head on straight, and hopefully he will.
Last year, the 49ers, in my humble opinion, played hard and fast on defense. On offense, I think they just played hard. There wasn't a lot of speed there. The addition of A.J. Jenkins, the first-round pick, and then LaMichael James, the second-round pick. Jerry, this team got quick in a hurry.
Yes, they did. Well, they had more speed than you're giving them credit for.
Okay.
But maybe they didn't use it like they will use it this year. But yes, they got quicker.
And I'll go back to what I said about Kyle Williams. There's an old friend of mine, and I won't mention his name until he's a guest on our show a little bit later. And yes, we will have a guest each week. Kyle Williams, I think, as this guest told me, is a Wes Welker waiting to happen. He had a very good preseason, really quick around the line of scrimmage. I think one of the things that the 49ers have done during this offseason, they are very, very, very deep. But the one position where they were thinnest, they just lost Paris Harrelson and signed Higgins to take his place. And that's a little bit concerning, I would think, right there.
Well, that's a tough deal for them. They missed very, very few games. I think it was something like 8 starts amongst their whole defense for injuries last year. That might have been the whole team. So, injuries happen in this league, and they're thin at linebacker, so hopefully the guys can stay healthy. Grant did a great job filling in, but losing Harrelson's a big deal, in my opinion.
I remember when the Niners were in their heyday, Dub, they didn't make many changes. Maybe a couple of rookies would have made it, and I don't know if they did much in free agency. But this team, I'm going to count Aldon Smith as a 12th starter on defense. They brought back 12 guys. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, Peter King used that same line.
Did he really?
Counting Aldon Smith as a 12th starter.
Maybe I did hear him say that, and I just stole that.
That's all right. It's a good guy to steal from.
Yeah.
But no, that doesn't happen. And that's the biggest thing that bothered me about Paris Harrelson going out now is, does this start the injury bug? You want to stay away, clear from injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we can't talk about this team without, he's not an addition this year, but Colin Kaepernick in the preseason. Whoa. First guy, raised my right hand. I didn't know that this guy was this good. I kind of thought, I didn't know about that pick when they took him, Mark.
It's still the preseason, and I think I shared your concerns with him. Obviously a superior athlete, can run, can throw the ball through a car wash without getting it wet. I think people were a little concerned about his delivery. It seems to be a little bit better, but he was a high-level performer, and that's really good news because if your number one guy goes down, you better have a number two, or it's history file for you.
When Jim Harbaugh was at Stanford, he arranged, when he was recruiting Andrew Luck, I almost said Oliver, to talk to Bill Walsh before Bill passed away. And I remember Andrew, in an article I read, said that he talked to Bill Walsh for 2 hours, and all they talked about was a right-handed quarterback rolling left. That was it. And if you saw Kaepernick rolling left, as he did many times during this preseason, wow, where did this come from?
And the kid, what a physical specimen. You walk past him in the hallway and you look up.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking kid. You know, the good thing, too, is he played a lot against first-teamers. It wasn't like him against the second and third units. So there's some potential there.
I think one of the things that has to be comforting to Niner fans is that, you know, the old adage, if you're hungry and I give you a fish, I can cure your hunger for a day, but if I teach you how to fish, you'll never be hungry again. And that's about as esoteric as we'll get on this.
Very profound. Very profound.
I went to church once.
And that relates to football.
But because I think the 49ers have in place now with Harbaugh and Balky people that can spot talent. Just like as we said earlier, I think a lot of people when they took Aldon Smith went, what? And I think a lot of people when they took A.J. Jenkins said, what? And I heard through the grapevine that the Rams, who picked about 3 places after us, were really upset because they had earmarked A.J. Jenkins. So having people that can find talent is just the huge deal.
It's it. And
all
teams,
about talent.
And what about what they're doing with these hybrid guys? Dobbs is playing tight end, defensive line. Tukwuofu as a blocking back is just a beast. He's an absolute monster. And I think those things help you save roster spots.
Oh, it helps. Well, obviously, it helps. You need as much talent as you can get on the roster at the time, and then you need to mold them. And the more you can do, they always say, the better off the team is. The more you can do.
The depth at quarterback, we talked about Kaepernick, Scott Tolzien. I mean, obviously, you know, you want your first-string quarterback there for the whole year. But look at last year in Houston. Schaub went down, and I can't remember. T.J. Yates from North Carolina.
Right.
Came in. What a great job he did. You know, hopefully it'll never get to that. Alex Smith has been very durable over the years, and you obviously want him in there. But I have to wonder, what kind of packages is Harbaugh going to have for the NFL to defend? You can go with the 2 speed backs in the backfield with LaMichael James and Kendall Hunter. You can go with Gore and Miller. You can go Gore and Brandon Jacobs. And with the wideouts that they have.
Or maybe three tight ends with Delaney Walker. And I think this plays into his hand because this is the kind of football he played at Stanford and just came at you with so many different looks. If you remember that last bowl game he played against Virginia Tech where everybody thought they'd get rolled over by their speed, and then he just said, okay, I'll just play tight end ball with you, and they just mowed him right down. So he's built a team that will give him incredible creativity and options.
Absolutely.
Good for him.
And you know that teams like Green Bay are having to try to, what kind of a defensive scheme are they going to run? We haven't even seen Moss and Manningham or any of those guys so far this year.
That's one of the best things about preseason is so vanilla, so basic. It's almost just like a practice. It's what preseason probably should be. I got goosebumps thinking about Green Bay.
Oh, I do too. And what a place for them to open and to go into Green Bay. The best thing about it is getting in there before the snow hits, and you know, getting in and out of there. And I think you're going to get a pretty good gauge on what this team is by that first game of the season. And with the second game of the season coming up from the same division, a tough Lion team coming here, I think you're going to get a real good grasp. But that's kind of looking ahead to next year and the schedule, and that's what we're going to do when we come back. I'm going to test you guys, and I'm going to ask you at some point what you think the record's going to be when we come back to Hooked on the Niners right here.
I know what he's going to say.
Hooked on the Niners is brought to you in part by Old County Custom Framing, located at 1339 Old County Road in Belmont. You can reach Old County Custom Framing at 650-596-2767. That's 650-596-2767. Go Niners! California Catering Company of San Mateo, proudly serving our community at 233 West 20th Avenue in San Mateo. California Catering can be reached at 650-345-5600. 4811, extension 1. Peninsula TV is supported by San Mateo Credit Union. 60 years of experience providing financial services to the people of San Mateo County. Security, value, community, tradition. Where people are worth more than money. For more information, their number is 650-363-1725 or online at smcu.org.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. You know, guys, there's this adage that's going around. I think it started on ESPN. There's some stat that teams that win 13 games the next year fall off by 4.7 wins or something. And I say, hooey. Who says that you have to lose ground?
I don't think you do.
Yeah,
It's
right,
just,
exactly.
I think they're talking about losing ground and win-loss percentages.
Right.
Who says you have to win 13 to make it to the playoffs and win a Super Bowl?
Right, but who says after you win 13 you can't win 14 games?
Well, you could win 14, 15, or even 16, which is what usually you do.
What I pick, and
There
so
you
then
go.
what better way than to segue into the schedule and put up the graphic for the first half of the season? As you take a look at this, as you well know, they're going to open up in Green Bay and then home to Detroit, and this is where I say, if you get past these two games, then look out. I know I'm joking. I'll be the first guy to say it. 16-0 is possible. But as I look at this, I'm not fearful of any one of those games that you look at Minnesota, at the New York Jets, home to Buffalo, home to the Giants in Seattle, and then at Arizona.
Well,
there's not a game there that I don't think we can win.
To me, this was the big, gigantic transition, right? Is that, seasons past, you went in and said, well, geez, if everything's perfect, they might do well. I think now when they step on the field, you feel like they can win every game, and you shouldn't be fearful. I look at those first 6 games, and I think it's a very, very tough opening schedule.
Sure.
I mean, Detroit is a legitimate playoff team that I think could win that division.
But like most dome teams, they're not as good outside the
right,
dome.
But it's a tough opening 6 to me, and this is something they benefited by last year. They did not have a tough schedule, and they handled that well and took advantage of it. This is a much tougher circumstance this year.
I'd say last year's schedule was tough, maybe not as tough as this year, but I agree with you that this is a tougher schedule this year, and it's going to. I think
I
you
wish
need
we
to
were
start
opening
working
with Tampa Bay, though.
The season
Or
opener.
Jacksonville.
You can never tell what's going to happen in the season opener.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I know you got to work on your handshake for that second game.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Exactly.
But look at the quarterbacks we're facing.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford for starters. I kind of like the kid in Minnesota. Ponder, I think he's pretty good. Got the two-headed monster in New York. We're going to be facing some of the top quarterbacks in the league. If we can look at the second half of the season, fortunately for the Niners, their bye this year comes at the halfway point. They're going to play 8 games and get a bye. And then it's St. Louis and Chicago at home. And then maybe here's the tough point. 4 out of the next 5 are on the road at New Orleans, St. Louis, home to Miami, New England, and Seattle now. And then ending with Arizona at home, as you can see. I would have thought at New England would have been tough, but I'm not fearful of New England. 32nd ranked defense last year. I think they've improved it a little bit. But
You're
New
not
Orleans,
fearful of the pride of San Mateo?
No, listen. I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan there is, but he doesn't play defense. 2 minutes. Geez, easy guys. Okay, 2 minutes. We were going to get to it. Don't worry. But we're also on a lot of Monday night, Sunday night games, Thursday night primetime stuff. This is good stuff, J-Dub.
It's great stuff for the fans. It's a little tougher on the team to play in the prime times. You get ready for them. It's easy to get your team up, but that takes a little bit of extra energy to play in the prime time. It's a good schedule. It's an interesting schedule. That last 5 or 6 games might be the teller.
Well, health is a big thing, and we're all, we don't want any injuries, obviously, statement of the obvious. But again, as they go, I look through the schedule, I don't see a whole lot of problems. Let me put you guys each on the hot seat. J-Dub, how do they do this year? And we know that predicting numbers is ridiculous.
Well, I say, what did I say last year? 13-3.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this year 12 or more. I'll be happy.
12 or more. So 12-4 you think is a very doable thing?
I'm going to be a little more conservative. I think this schedule is a 10-6 schedule, and winning the NFC West and moving ahead in the playoffs.
And this team is built for the playoffs. So, because they can pound it with the run, and you absolutely cannot run on this team. So, as they say for the playoffs, you got to be able to run the ball and stop the run, and I think they can do both.
That Green Bay game is a preview of the national championship game.
Could be.
That's exactly right. Well, I'll give you my pick. Nobody asked, but I will. Again, if they get past those first two games, if they get past Green Bay in Green Bay and Detroit here at home, look out. Something special could be happening here.
Watch out.
There's no question about it. There's no question about
optimism.
it. Hey, and one thing that we should mention is
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Oh, again, 2 minutes? Okay. Well,
let's
roll some more here.
We would have been better if we
would have
had
been
4
better.
minutes,
Yeah,
right?
we're just about wrapping up. One of the things we didn't talk about, and I think
2 minutes.
Yeah, one of the big things is having Brandon Jacobs. We had a lot of 4th and 1s last year that we didn't get. He went down with an injury in the preseason, but it seems to be okay. I think that's a huge benefit
Couldn't
for us.
agree more. And come from obviously a winning program and with a winning attitude. Seems to take it on a leadership role, and he's a big dude, 6'4", about 260. So
yeah. And do you think they take the wraps off of Alex Smith and start throwing downfield a little more with the weapons that we have here?
I think some downfield throws are in the game plan.
Yeah. So and here's the other thing too. Do you think that they will have a package for Kaepernick? Do you think we'll see some sort of a wildcat thing there?
I think they'll practice it. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we'll see a wildcat. But who knows?
Gosh, I think you've got an athlete with that level of skill. I think they have to use him.
Yeah.
And I think they will.
At some point.
Absolutely.
The thing that I'll take to my grave is I've never understood why the quarterback position can't be handled like a pitcher in baseball. You go out and you're a great pitcher, and one day you just don't have it, and they put in the relief guy. I've never understood why that doesn't work in professional football.
It's so different. It's completely opposite from baseball, and you got to stick with that number one guy. He's the one that brought you there. He's the one that takes you home.
The other thing that we didn't touch on is Aldon Smith is now earmarked to be the starter. And not being put in obvious pass rushing situations. I think that's a feather in the cap for the 49ers, having that pressure all the time coming off the edge.
What a great draft pick. This guy's just a terrifying pass rusher. He's so long and so fast, and teams are going to have to prepare for him in a big way, and I think it's going to open up other opportunities for him. So great pick and great player.
All right, we got to wind it up. Guys, good to be back with you and spending some time, and we'll be back each week right here on Penn TV. We'll see you next week right here on Hooked on the Niners.
Aldon Smith.
Yeah.